more of this kind of content, you can subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Lucas, a solitary 32-year-old farmer, sat on the porch of his wooden house, a cup of strong coffee in hand, while an old radio emitted static, as if picking up something beyond human reach. Suddenly, the sound came, a rumble in the sky, accompanied by a bluish light slicing through the darkness like lightning. Yet without rain, Lucas jumped to his feet, the cup falling from his hand and shattering on the floor. The ground trembled slightly, as though something massive had struck not far away. What the hell was that? He muttered to himself, his heart pounding before he could decide whether to investigate or lock himself inside. A knocking at the door made him freeze. It was rapid and irregular, almost desperate. Lucas hesitated, grabbed the shotgun leaning by the door, and opened it slowly, the creak seeming to echo for an eternity. The first thing he saw were the eyes, large, expressive, glowing a bright blue that almost hypnotized him. There she stood, a slender figure with bluish skin reflecting the porch light like silk under the moon. She wore what appeared to be a silver suit, torn in several places, revealing bruises that seemed to pulse faintly with a soft glow. "Please don't be afraid, I need help," she said, her voice sounding human yet carrying a metallic echo that sent chills down Lucas's spine. He slowly lowered the shotgun, not because it felt safe, but because something about her expression, a mix of a vulnerability and strength, made him trust her. "You fell from the sky?" he asked, barely believing his own words. "My ship was shot down," she replied, glancing back as if expecting to be followed. "They're coming." Lucas frowned. "They who?" Before she could answer, a piercing sound sliced through the sky, again like the wail of tearing metal. The alien stepped into the house without waiting for an invitation, pulling Lucas by his shirt. "Shut the door now," he obeyed, locking everything in haste. His heart thumped like a drum as the lights outside flickered, a red glow blending with the blue sky. Lucas peeked through the window and saw 3 flying saucers hovering above the forest. Beams of light swept down as if searching for something. "Are you one of them?" he asked, still struggling to process the situation. "My name is Arya. I'm not like them. They're hunters, mercenaries. I just want to survive." She placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder, and he felt a strange, comforting warmth, as though her blue skin radiated energy. "All right, Ara," he said, his voice steadier. "You're safe here." She looked him in the eyes, surprised. "You're not afraid of me?" he shrugged, trying to mask his nerves. "Doesn't seem like you want to hurt me, and well, you're pretty stunning for an alien." Ara tilted her head, confused, then laughed a light, musical sound. "Your planet, it is strange." Lucas smiled, but the moment was cut short by an explosion in the forest so close it shook the entire house. The hunters were closing in. Ara gripped Lucas's arm tighter. "They can't find me or you. If they see you with me, they'll kill you." "Then let's get the hell out of here," he said, grabbing the truck keys. "I can't leave. They track my body, my energy. If I move too far from the ship, they'll destroy everything around us to capture me." Lucas took a deep breath, trying to think. He had never been a hero, never saved anyone beyond a few calves stuck in the pasture, but something about this woman, or alien, whatever, made him want to protect her at all costs. He had no idea what lay ahead, but he knew he wasn't going to abandon her. "Okay, Ara, we'll figure this out, but first tell me, what do these bastards want with you?" She hesitated, her eyes glowing more intensely. "I carry something inside me, something that could change the fate of the entire galaxy." Lucas didn't have time to ask what it was, because at that moment the roof of the house was struck by a beam of light, blowing a massive hole into it. Ara screamed and pulled Lucas under the table. The hunters had found what they were looking for. The wooden table groaned above them as the beam of light continued to scan the room, emitting a high-pitched noise that made Lucas's ears throb. Ara gripped his arm tightly, her glowing blue eyes reflecting fear and attention. "Lucas, they're tracking my bioenergy pulse. We need to disable their sensors before they destroy this entire area." Her voice carried urgency, but also a steadiness that convinced him she knew exactly what to do. "All right, but how do we do that? I don't exactly have a laser gun in the closet area. She pointed to what looked like a metallic panel attached to her wrist. It was small but damaged with exposed wires sparking intermittently. I need something to fix this. Do you have tools? Tools, sure, but they are for farming. He rushed to a drawer, pulling out a screwdriver and some electrical tape. Will this work? It'll have to, she said, already adjusting the device with a precision that seemed otherworldly. As she worked, the sounds outside grew louder. Red beams of light sliced through the darkness, burning trees and triggering explosions that echoed like thunder. Why are you running from them? What exactly do you have inside you? Lucas asked, adrenaline pumping as the chaos crept closer. Ara paused for a moment, looking directly at him. I carry a technology that can alter the DNA of any species, a power to cure diseases or destroy entire worlds. They want to weaponize it. Lucas swallowed hard. So basically, you're a walking time bomb. I'm not a bomb, but what I carry could become one in the wrong hands. Before he could respond, an explosion shook the entire house. Part of the roof caved in, and Lucas had to pull area away from the falling debris. One of the flying saucers was now hovering directly above the house. A golden beam of light descended, striking the ground with force, and two humanoid figures emerged. They wore sleek black suits, helmets obscuring their faces, and weapons resembling plasma spears pulsating with an eerie glow. Lucas exclaimed, grabbing Arya's hand. We've got to get out of here now. No, if we run, they'll destroy everything. Ara finished adjusting the wrist device and stood up. I need to face them. It's the only way to buy us time. Are you insane? They've got weapons from another world, and you want to take them head on. She placed her hand on his face, a gesture that made him freeze instantly. Her touch was warm, soothing, as if a strange heat coursed through his body. Trust me, Lucas, and thank you for caring. He was speechless for a moment, then nodded. She turned to face the invader, raising her hand with the device. A blue wave of energy emanated from it, forming a barrier that made the hunters hesitate. Briefly, this will hold them for a few minutes. We need to get to my ship. There's more technology that we can use to stop them, she said, her voice filled with determination that almost made Lucas forget they were up against alien bounty hunters. Fine, but you'll have to guide me this forest a maze at night. They dashed out through the back door, sprinting into the dense undergrowth. Lucas held a flashlight while Ara led the way with unerring precision. The sounds of explosions and clashing metal persisted behind them, but the thick forest provided some cover. How much farther to your ship? Lucas asked, panting. Less than a kilometer, but they'll catch up to us before we get there unless we do something. Ara stopped abruptly. Glancing around, she crouched, picking up a large stone and holding it against the device on her wrist. Within seconds, the stone began to emit a bright blue glow. What are you doing? Lucas asked, creating a hologram of myself. It'll distract them. She activated the device, and a perfect copy of herself appeared, sprinting in the opposite direction. Let's go. They resumed their run, but before they reached the ship, one of the hunters appeared out of nowhere, blocking their path. He pointed the plasma spear at them, and Lucas instinctively stepped in front of Ara. Lucas, get out of the way, she shouted, trying to pull him back. No chance. You told me to trust you. Now trust me. The hunters seemed to hesitate, perhaps analyzing the situation. It was enough time for Ara to use her wrist device again, unleashing a surge of energy that sent the attacker flying, the impact echoing through the trees. Lucas stared at her in awe. Holy crap, why didn't you do that earlier? It drains too much power. I can only use it once before it needs to recharge. They finally reached the ship, partially buried in a clearing. It was larger than Lucas had imagined, its silver hull gleaming and scarred from battle. The faint hum of machinery still operating filled the air. Get inside quickly, Ara commanded as the ship's lights flickered on automatically. Lucas followed her inside, his heart pounding. Little did he know this ship wasn't just a temporary refuge. It held secrets that would change their lives forever. Months had passed since that chaotic night in the Amazon rainforest. Ara had managed to escape the hunters, thanks to Lucas and her partially restored ship which now lay camouflaged among the trees as an improvised sanctuary. Life on the farm had changed forever. Lucas never imagined he'd share his days with an alien, let alone fall in love with her, but between starry nights and the stories Ara told about her home planet, the two found a connection that transcended worlds. Now 8 months pregnant, Ara sat on the porch, one hand gently caressing her glowing bluish belly. Lucas sat beside her, adjusting a chair to make her more comfortable. "You're huge, you know that?" he teased with a wide grin. "I think this baby's going to be stronger than me." She laughed, her metallic echo still something Lucas had grown to love. "My people have shorter pregnancies. This is normal, but I'd say you're the reason this feels special." Lucas placed his hand on her belly, feeling a soft vibration. It moved. Arya nodded. "Our child will be unique, half of me, half of you. I hope the universe is ready for them." Lucas didn't answer immediately. He looked up at the starry sky, lost in thought. "Do you think they're still looking for us, the hunters?" She sighed. "Maybe, but I destroyed the device they needed most. For now, we're safe. You've given me a home, Lucas, something I never thought I'd find on Earth." He held her hand. "And you've given me a reason to believe in something bigger." That night, a storm swept through the forest. Lightning lit up the sky and thunder echoed through the trees. Lucas was anxious, not because he feared the storm, but because Ara had started having contractions. "Lucas, it's time," she said, breathless, gripping the back of a chair. "The baby is coming now in the middle of this storm." He began pacing nervously. I've never done this before. What if something goes wrong?" Ara took a deep breath, trying to calm him. "Going to help me. We trust each other, remember?" Lucas nodded, grabbing clean towels and warm water. Arya lay on the living room couch while he did his best to stay calm. Outside, the storm seemed to amplify the moment, as if nature itself understood the significance of what was happening. Hours passed in a blur of pain, sweat, and effort, but finally the sound of a cry broke the silence. It wasn't an ordinary cry. It carried a subtle melody, a harmonic note that resonated in the air. Lucas held the baby in his hands, his eyes wide with awe. The child was beautiful. She had her mother's bluish skin, but Lucas's warm, bright brown eyes. A faint bioluminescence radiated from her body, lighting up the room as if a tiny star had been born. "It's a girl," Lucas said, tears streaming down his face as he handed the baby to Arya. Arya cradled her gently, her eyes shimmering with love and hope. "She's perfect, so small yet so powerful." Lucas sat beside them, gazing at his new family. "We should name her something that blends our worlds." Ara thought for a moment before smiling. "Elra, it means light of the stars in my language." Elra, Lucas repeated, feeling the weight of the name. "It's perfect." Outside, the storm began to subside and an unusual rainbow spread across the sky, a sign of something extraordinary. The farm, once a lonely place deep in the forest, was now a home, a refuge for something that could change the destiny of two worlds. As Lucas and Ara watched Era sleep, enveloped in a soft glow, they both knew the future would be uncertain, but it was also filled with endless possibilities, and for now that was enough.